Good morning. It's 5 a.m. Thursday morning for me, and we're going to do video and notes. I was too tired last night to make the video, so I'm up early making it for you. I hope you're doing well. The title of this is, oh dear, hang on. There we go. The title of this is functions. So I know you've been seeing and hearing this word this unit, and finally we get to talk about what a function is. So we're going to start with some vocab, and we're just going to kind of, before I tell you what a function is, we're going to set it up with some vocab. So input, okay, other words for input are independent variable, x-axis, and then there's a new word I'm going to tell you. You don't have to completely remember it. It's a 9th grade vocab word, but we're going to look at it because you see it in some of your, you might see it in some of your work, and that word is called domain. And just to add it here, the domain is the set of all possible input values. And we're going to talk a little bit more about input, but I know you've seen it in earlier grades. So all of those words, input, independent variable, x-axis, domain, all of those words mean pretty much the same thing, just the way 50% and 1/2 are different perspectives on the same value. These are different perspectives on the same concept of an input or an independent variable. So I'm going to make my next list. It's going to start with output. Can you predict what else is going to, the list looks almost exactly the same, except instead of input we have output. Can you predict what else we're going to have in this list? So we're going to have output, dependent variable, y-axis, and then the new fancy word is range. And if domain is the set of all possible input values, what do you think that range might be? The range is the set of all possible output values. So you can use output and dependent variable and y-axis and range kind of interchangeably. They're definitely all the same concept. They basically mean the same thing. Some of them are slightly different perspectives. For example, y-axis is a graph perspective, so you're looking at the graph to see the output. Dependent variable is more of like a word problem perspective. You're thinking which variable depends. Does money depend on hours? Money earned depend on hours? But they essentially mean the same thing. I'm going to erase this. I have notes here. Okay. I know I haven't told you what a function is yet. I'm going to tell you. Okay, so before I tell you what a function is, I'm going to say that we use tables, graphs, equations, ordered pairs, written descriptions, And there's a new one, mapping. We use all of those things to express, to represent functions. I meant to do that part in black. See, I have this whole, all this stuff I was supposed to click black on. You guys get the idea. I'm not going to go over that. So tables. So you guys know what a table looks like. A table typically has an X and a Y value. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. A graph we've been doing. Boop. Okay, we've been doing linear functions. An equation, y equals x plus 5. Okay, ordered pairs. We talked about this earlier in the year. I'm just going to remind you they're ordered pairs because they are a pair of numbers and they go in order x, y. So this relationship expressed as an ordered pair would look like 0, 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8. They go in order. X first, then Y. Ordered pairs. Written description. I gotta make one up pretty quick for this. Written description would be like somebody gets a $5 tip and makes $1 an hour. Okay, or a $5 one-time gift and then $1 an hour. Okay, so a mapping. I'm going to erase this. A mapping looks like this. It's very similar to a table, except instead of when you have a table, it looks like this, 3, 8. Okay, when a mapping is set, that's supposed to be a Y. A mapping, you draw a set, and you below the set you say input. When you're in Algebra 1, instead of input, you're going to say domain. So next year you'll say domain, and then here you say output. And then more advanced, when you're older, you'll say range. So this oval here gives us this set of all input values. And to remind you, input is also x, x-axis, independent variable. Okay, so over here we have our input values 0, 1, 2, 3. Like that. And then our output values 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and then you show, and we're going to get this. We're going to get to a function pretty quick here, and that's going to help you understand what's going on here. You show that the input is a 0, the output is a 5, the input is a 1, the output is a 6, the input is a 2, the output is a 7. The input is a 3, the output is an 8. Okay, so another way to look at a mapping, another example of a mapping, if this is our input, actually, hang on. Sorry, I forgot I wanted to do negatives. If this is our input, let's do -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And here's our output. Let's do 0, 1, 4. Okay. We could say -2 is the input, the output is 4. -1 is the input, the output is 1, 0 is the input, the output is 0. 1 is the input, the output is 1. So a mapping can look like that. The table for this would look like this, x, y, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. So the table and the mapping are very similar but slightly different, and the mapping is going to help us understand functions. That's why we're doing mapping. Okay, here's the definition of a function. A function is a rule that pairs every input. And remember, there's a lot of vocab with that. X, independent variable, with exactly one output. So every input gets paired with exactly one output. Okay. Another way of saying that, we could say every x is paired with exactly one y. Okay, so I'm gonna show you two different mappings. I'm gonna erase that. I'm gonna put it a little bit smaller up at the top. Every input is paired with one output. We're gonna look at two mappings. One of them is going to be a function and one of them is not. This one is going to be a function. So if we have an input, we're going to look at this one again, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And we're going to go 0, 1, 4. -2 is the input. It is paired with one output, 4. Okay, just to help you understand the rule for this function. Another way of saying that, I'm going to draw a function machine. I'm going to erase this.